Hello, this is a tutorial on the basics of Keycloak, Part 2, configuring JBoss applications. This is a continuation of Part 1, where within the admin console we created a realm, a user, some roles, and some application metadata. In this part of the tutorial, we're actually going to build and configure the applications that we want to secure, which will involve crafting config files, building the applications, deploying them, and booting up and running the demo. So the first thing we have to do is we have to set up some configuration files. If you go to the Keycloak appliance distribution and you list the directory contents, you see that there's an examples directory. We're interested in examples unconfigured demo. The unconfigured demo directory contains a bunch of Maven projects which are used to build each one of the applications we want to deploy to the Wildfly application server. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring up all these projects within my favorite IDE, which is IntelliJ. Okay, the first application we are going to configure to use with Keycloak is the customer portal application. If you go look at the customer app directory, you can see the structure of the project. It's structured as a Maven WAR project. What we need to do first is we need to create a Keycloak specific configuration file in the webinf directory. The name of this file is keycloak.json, all lowercase. Within this file, we'll need to define the public key of the realm, the name of the realm, and the URL of where the realm lives. What's great about the Keycloak administration console is that you can actually get a template for this configuration file and cut and paste it and put it into this file we're creating here. So let's go back to the administration console. Okay, so we're in the admin console now, and click on the applications tab. We are configuring the customer portal, so we'll click that. And you can see here we have an installation link. We're going to click that. And from the format selection box here, we're going to click keycloak.json. And what you get here is a sample configuration file that's specific to this application for this realm. It already comes pre-configured with the public key and the secret for the application. So let's cut and paste that bit of JSON and cut and paste it into the keycloak.json file that we created in our Maven project here. Click Save. The next thing we have to do is within web.xml, you have to specify the auth method to be Keycloak. So when you specify as Keycloak, this triggers the Keycloak adapter to be applied to this web application when it gets deployed. And the web application will look for its configuration in the keycloak.json file that is in the webinf directory. That's all you have to do. Let's do the same thing for the product portal application as well. So again, we'll go to the webinf directory. Let's close this one. We'll create keycloak.json file. We will go to the Keycloak administration console. We'll go to the product portal application. Click on installation. Select the keycloak.json file format. Cut and paste it into the keycloak.json file that we created in the product app. And finally, we need to set the auth method to Keycloak within the web.xml file here. Hit save. Okay, the last application we have to configure is the database servers application. This application is a little bit different than the customer and portal apps. Database servers application is a pure REST service. which the product app and customer app are querying in the background to get their product and customer listings. Because it is a pure REST service, there's less security information we need to specify in keycloak.json file. But let's create that file for this deployment here. We'll cut and paste from the other one. And what we don't need here is the auth server URL because we're not doing any redirects. Our resource name is database service. This service does not have any credentials because it's not dealing with access codes. And the final one configuration option we do need to add is bearer only. Set that to true. All this does is it disables browser-based authentication. Again, because this is a pure REST service, we don't need browser authentication. So we'll set bearer only to true to make this deployment a little bit more optimized. Okay, so we created the keycloak.json file. The last thing we need to do for database service is turn on Keycloak within the web.xml file. So we go to the web.xml file and specify the auth method to Keycloak to enable it for this project. Okay, all our configuration files are done. Now it's time to actually build and deploy these applications. To do that, we're going to go back to our command window here and into the unconfigured demo directory. We're first going to build all the applications, so we'll do mvn clean install. This tells Maven to build the actual all the projects that we've configured here. And the next thing we're going to do is deploy these to the application server. What we're going to do here is we're actually deploying it to the same application server that the Keycloak administration server is running. We're doing that just for simplicity's sake, but usually you'd be deploying these to different services. So we'll do Maven JBoss AS deploy, and these get deployed to the application server. If you notice that we have success for the customer portal, product portal, and the database service. You see we have a failure here for simple OAuth client. This is because these particular projects here are talked about and configured in a different tutorial. So don't be alarmed by the failure message here. Okay, now that we have deployed everything, now it's time to actually run it. Let's run the demo. So the first application we're going to visit here is the customer portal application. It is at localhost port 8080/customer-portal. And when you enter in this URL here, you'll be brought to the welcome page of the customer portal application. This welcome page is not secured and it does not require a login. What does require a login and that is protected is the customer listing link here. When we click on this link, we're going to be asked to log in. As you can see up here, we're actually brought to the Keycloak authentication server, and we're going to enter in our username. Our username, if you remember, was bburke@redhat.com. This user is the one we created in part 1 of this tutorial. Our password was password. I hit login here. Another thing, if you remember, when we created the bburke user, is that we reset its password through the administration console. When we reset the password, this requires bburke to enter in a new password. So we'll do that now. Hit submit here. When I hit submit, I should be brought to the customer listing page, and I am. So after I entered in my new password and all my credentials there, and I hit OK, what the Keycloak authentication server did is it redirected us back to the customer portal application. The customer portal application then obtained an access token from the Keycloak server. I used that access token to invoke on the database REST API that we also deployed here to get the customer listing. So now that we're logged in, we can visit other applications that have been secured by this Keycloak realm. So if you see here, we have a products link here. When we click on that, we're brought to the products welcome page. We click on the secured product listing page, and you see here we did not have to relog in. We didn't have to relog in because the central login page has set a cookie to remember us, so we don't have to do the login again. So now that we've looked at our product listings and our customer listings, we're done with this interacting with these applications, so I want to log out. Now, so what you can do is when I click out this logout link here, if you see on the bottom here, you can see the URL. It's pointing back to the Keycloak server, and this is a URL that allows you to do a single log off. So when I click this logout link here, it's going to log me out of the product application as well as the customer application. So now you see when I click on product listing and ask me to relog in. If I go to customer portal, click customer listing, you see it asks me to log in. One last thing I want to talk about is the role mappings that we apply to the customer portal application. The customer listing URL here only allows access to the user role. If you remember, when we created B. Burke, we created a role mapping between that user and the user role. The customer admin interface is different. This particular link requires the admin role. So when I click on this link here, I'll be asked to log in again because we logged out before. And when I click the login link, it's going to fail. The reason it failed is because B. Burke only has user privileges. It does not have admin privileges. So what we can do is we can go back to the administration console and add admin privileges to B. Burke. So let's do that. So we'll go back to the admin console here. Gotta log into the admin console. We'll go to users, click on B. Burke, go to role mappings, add admin, log out, go to the product portal again, customer portal I mean. We'll log out. So now when we click on the customer admin interface link, which must have the admin role, we'll log in, and B. Burke will have permissions to view that page. Well, that's it. That's the end of part 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.